It began with a sound, a low rumble that grew into a piercing roar, tearing through the humid air. On the tarmac of a once quiet Philippine airbase, a single F-16 Fighting Falcon touched down, its wheels screeching against the asphalt. This was not just another landing, it was a declaration. In that moment, the strategic landscape of Southeast Asia shifted. The arrival of this American warplane, followed by its squadron, was a calculated move in a high-stakes game of power. The United States was rewriting the rules, and the world was watching. Military deployments happen every day, but this was different, deliberate, freighted with meaning. The presence of these advanced jets on Philippine soil pointed to a larger narrative, a direct response to the shifting tides in the South China Sea. For years, tensions simmered. The F-16's arrival was a sharp reminder of alliances and rivalries. For pilots and ground crews, it was a day of intense activity. For diplomats, a day of intense analysis. Every movement was scrutinized, every statement passed for intent. The deployment was a show of force, a physical manifestation of America's commitment to its oldest Asian ally. The message, America is here watching and ready to act. The unspoken question, how would the region's other superpower respond? This single event set off a chain reaction, forcing nations to reconsider their positions and allegiances. The landing of one jet became a symbol of a new era, one defined by heightened competition and risk. The calm of the past was shattered by the roar of jet engines. The region's future is more uncertain than ever. The game has changed and the pieces are in motion. The F-16 Fighting Falcon is more than an aircraft. It's a legend. For decades, it's been the workhorse of the US Air Force and its allies, a symbol of American air power and technological superiority. When an F-16 appears in a new theater, it brings a history of dominance. Its presence in the Philippines is loaded with symbolic weight, a message delivered without words. This deployment was no accident. It was a display of strategic intent. In international relations, actions speak louder than communiques. The F-16's presence sends a message more powerful than any press release. It reassures allies and signals to adversaries. The US stands ready, not just in words, but with force. For the Philippines, these jets are both shield and spotlight, deterrent and risk. Their presence puts the nation on the front line of US-China rivalry. The F-16's versatility, air-to-air and ground attack, signals comprehensive capability. This is about more than defense, it's about presence and projection. The Fighting Falcons are a constant visible reminder of American power ready to be unleashed. Their arrival alters the region's strategic calculations. Caesar Bassa Air Base, once obscure, is now at the heart of global geopolitics. Its strategic location northwest of Manila makes it a crucial launching point, placing American jets within minutes of the South China Sea's most contested territories. This proximity is a game changer. Previously, US air power came from distant bases or carriers. Now, response time is dramatically shortened. Bassa Air Base is no longer just Philippine territory, it's a critical node in America's military network. This transformation is the result of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, granting the US access to key Philippine bases. Bassa's activation as an F-16 hub is EDCA's most significant manifestation yet. The alliance is now a living, breathing reality. The base's importance is a stark illustration of how quickly geopolitics can shift. Once local, it's now a potential flashpoint in a global power struggle. The roar of F-16s is a constant reminder of its new role. Geography is destiny, and Bassa Air Base is now one of the most important squares on the board. This deployment isn't charity, it's cold, hard strategy. The US didn't send its premier jets to help a friend. It sent a message to Beijing. China's expansion in the South China Sea has changed the facts on the water. The F-16s are Washington's way of saying, we see you and we're pushing back. For some, it's necessary deterrence, restoring balance and raising the cost of aggression. For Beijing, it's provocation, an attempt to contain China and interfere in its backyard. The F-16s are both shield and spear, reassurance and threat. Their presence draws a new line in the sky. The US has made its move, placing a powerful piece on the board. The question, how and when will China respond? The stakes have never been higher. The Philippines now stands in a powerful yet precarious position. Hosting American F-16s gives Manila influence it hasn't had in decades. But this influence comes at a price. The nation is walking a tightrope between its US security alliance and deep economic ties with China. Angering Beijing risks economic fallout, embracing the US risks becoming a target. This balancing act sparks intense domestic debate. Some see the US alliance as essential for sovereignty, others fear being drawn into a superpower conflict. The Philippines must secure its territory without sacrificing prosperity. Every decision is fraught with consequence. A military exercise with the US provokes China. A trade deal with China raises US suspicion. Manila's leaders are under immense pressure to maintain balance. The nation's future may depend on its ability to walk this high-stakes tightrope. ASEAN's consensus-driven approach is faltering amid US-China rivalry. The bloc's response to the F-16 deployment has been muted and divided. Some members quietly support a stronger US presence, others, reliant on China, remain silent. This lack of unity creates a vacuum of power and influence. Into this vacuum steps the United States, acting bilaterally with willing partners like the Philippines. The US is writing new rules for the region, filling the void left by ASEAN's indecision. This dynamic reinforces American influence at ASEAN's expense. If ASEAN can't address pressing security challenges, it risks marginalization. Major powers will bypass it, dealing directly with individual states. The dream of a unified central ASEAN is being tested like never before. The roar of F-16s is a wake-up call. The time for quiet diplomacy may be running out. The region's future is being shaped by those willing to act. Beijing's response to the F-16 deployment has been quiet, strategically so. Official condemnations are routine, but there's little fiery rhetoric or dramatic military moves. This patience is calculation, not weakness. China is playing the long game, analyzing, planning, and avoiding rash escalation. Likely responses: economic pressure on the Philippines, intensified grey zone tactics, and accelerated military buildup in the region. Beijing may fortify its artificial islands, deploy advanced jets, and enhance anti-access capabilities. This tit-for-tat militarization raises the stakes for all. China's goals show that US deployments won't deter its long-term ambitions. The response may be slow, but it will be deliberate and sustained. China will use economic leverage, diplomacy, and military might to chip away at US credibility. The quiet from Beijing is not silence, it's the sound of a great power considering its next move. The chessboard is set, the next move is China's. The joint military drills to follow this deployment are where real danger lies. When American and Philippine jets fly near the South China Sea, the risk of miscalculation skyrockets. These exercises send a message of unity, but the line between training and confrontation is thin. The F-16s at Basa Air Base symbolize a new era, one of open, great power competition. The US is no longer leading from behind. It's drawing clear lines and forcing choices. The rules are being rewritten in the roar of afterburners. For now, the US is writing these rules, seizing the initiative and challenging China's narrative. The deployment shows America is willing to take risks to uphold its vision of a free Indo-Pacific. The future of Southeast Asia will be shaped by this contest. Stability or escalation, balance or arms race. What's certain, the landing of those F-16s was a turning point. The strategic competition is now out in the open for all the world to see.